Hey everybody, Kyle with Confident Canines here, and today we are talking about when is it okay for my dog to break command? And this is, I hope, I always have to think what I'm talking about. This is, I hope, a very helpful topic for some of you who might be doing training with your dog and might be wondering, is it ever okay for my dog to break command? Well, the answer is yes. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, sorry, I've got a dog here right behind me. In this training program and what a lot of people are doing, let's say we put our dog in place and our dog is supposed to stay in place until further notice, whether we release them or we call them, whatever the case may be. That could be hours. That could be 2, 3, 4 hours before we do that. And our dog is expected to stay on place for that amount of time, no matter what goes on. No matter what distractions are going on, people coming in the door, doorbell ringing, vacuuming, kids running around playing, eating, cooking. If you're in the room, if you're not in the room, doesn't matter. Dog's supposed to stay in place. Same with down. Down is something we would use more outside of the home. If you're at a restaurant or at a store, you would use a lot of down. You're not going to have a place with you, most likely. So you're going to put your dog into a down. And again, if you're sitting at a coffee shop for an hour or two, your dog needs to hold their down for an hour or two. And so when is it okay for your dog to break command? Because generally speaking, your dog is supposed to hold that command. Like I said, even if there's people running around, kids, making noise, other dogs going by, your dog needs to hold command. But there are situations in which it is okay for your dog to break command, and I would not correct for it. These are going to be sort of up to your judgment. It's hard to make a list of them. But an example would be, let's say your dog is in place and there's some kids playing with a ball and you've done your job as the adult and you said, hey, leave the dog alone. You're going to advocate for his or her space and don't throw the ball at the dog, but the ball ends up going wonky and it goes and it hits the dog in the butt. And, it's just like a bouncy ball or whatever. I don't know, whatever kids play with. And it hits the dog in the butt and the dog jumps up and kind of runs off place. I would probably not correct for that. That's normal. Another real life example from something that happened to me recently. I had a dog. I was at a store and I had a dog that was in training and I was checking out. So I was at the checkout counter and had the dog next to me / in front of me in a down, and next to to my side, and sort of behind the dog was this sort of bin, like a metal bin, that was pretty tall. And it was like they're selling something for like $1.99, like they do at the register. And I didn't really notice it, and I certainly didn't. I guess I thought it was pretty stationary. But the woman next to me at the next register accidentally bumped into it. It apparently was not stationary; it was on wheels, and it rolled into my dog. Not very hard, but still, it rolled into him and it touched him. I didn't correct for that. I just said I put him back in a down. Right. That's where we come in and we offer that guidance. So, like I said, 99% of the time, our dogs need to be holding their commands, kind of no matter what. We need to do our best as owners to advocate for them to make sure that they're not being put in situations where they might feel the need to break command. For example, we're going to tell people you can't pet my dog when they ask. We're going to tell people who come in our home, hey, just ignore the dog. He or she is over in place and don't pet her and don't talk to her, whatever. Not that, your dog still needs to hold command, even if someone's talking to them, even if someone's going, hey, baby, and that's something we proof against, in our training. But so there's not a lot of situations where this would come into play, but it's going to happen. And the connection, I suppose, between the two little examples I've given is something physically contacting your dog, a foreign object coming and physically, bumping into your dog. If someone did, despite our best efforts to advocate for our dog's space, if someone did come up and our dog was in a down and they tried to, put their hand on the dog's head and, pet the dog and the dog backed up, you know, um, I would consider that okay too. I wouldn't want my dog to like go towards the person. Um, but if they wanted to try and create a little space for themselves and remove themselves from the situation, you know, that's another place I wouldn't correct. So it doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often that I don't correct for breaking commands. Very, very rare, like I said, because they're expected to tolerate most things. And of course, we go through training to proof them against all this stuff. It's not like they just are expected to deal with it. That's all part of the training process, is to practice all this stuff. And then, of course, like I said, advocating is a huge part of it too. So those two things combined, it doesn't happen often. But the question of, is it okay for my dog to break place or break command under certain circumstances? Absolutely. Absolutely. So use your judgment. Don't give them too much leeway. Evaluate the situation as it comes. But is it okay sometimes? Yes, absolutely. And if you're doing a lot of stuff with your dog out in public, you're probably going to come across a situation or two where that happens. So don't, if you correct your dog for something, you can always reevaluate. And maybe next time, don't beat yourself up too much. Your dogs, they're going to understand. You're not going to wreck your dog. So that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for checking us out. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And I will see you next time. And goodbye.